The following episode may contain sensitive content. Listener discretion is advised. Everyone.
Hello. How are you?
Welcome to The Show Must Go On.
Welcome. Sugar Bottom is here again.
I'm Sugar Bottom. Yeah, that's my name from now on. I'm changing it legally. So hello, everyone. My name is Tracey Sugar Bottom Dazamba, and there we have Nikki Honey Tits Cucarulu.
Hey, here we are, Sugar Bottom and Honey Tits, just making it happen for you all. Man, that would be a great name. Damn, we should have changed it. Podcast.
There's still time.
I know. Not The Show Must Go On. It's gonna be called Sugar Bottom and Honey Tits.
If that sounds like a beauty makeover, like
Hershey Kiss Lips. Oh my god, my dad listens to this. Like, I'm thinking about it. Sorry, Dad.
Sorry. No tetas, no tetas.
He might not understand that, so it's okay. Oh god. Guys, this podcast is actually about reviewing films and stuff, not about OnlyFans. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, for like first-time listeners, they're like, what
is going on? Oh, man. And it's like the listeners from the guests that we've had before, they're like, wait, guys, today we don't have guests.
Off the rails.
It's just a dual episode. It's just us. But we're still going to try to entertain you as much as we can. You know, we'll do our best.
Hopefully.
We will do our best.
Well, the first, I think, 2 minutes hasn't been so bad, right?
I know. We got great host's name. And, you know, and this is clearly not a segue to the movie that we're reviewing today. It's actually the opposite of what we're reviewing today.
Yeah, like as far from...
Yeah.
Like, I need to go to confession.
Hey, wink, wink.
Oh, God, PTSD.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, goodness.
Jesus. Well, not Jesus.
Actually, great segue. So today...
Wait, but before, I wanted to ask you, before we actually segue, we're going to put a pin on that segue. Do you watch the Super Bowl performance?
So I saw the YouTube clip of Kendrick Lamar's performance.
Okay.
Sports.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was like, a fine game or whatever, but I ended up watching Hacks. I started watching Hacks. So
how many episodes are you in?
Finished the first season, and I'm about to start episode 3 of season 2.
Your mom will love this show.
Going on the road.
Is she watching?
She probably would. Okay. I mean, I fucking love Jean Smart.
She's so funny.
And her character has depth, and that's what I enjoy about a show where it's like you think that she's just being a bitch, but there's layers to her. She's an onion. And we're slowly, you peel it back.
And I love how different both characters are. Right. It's so good. Well, I can't believe I just started watching it. I wish I would have started watching it a long time ago so I can rewatch it again. But I think a new season comes out this year. Which is really exciting. Excellent. Yeah. But I'm so glad you like it. I don't know if I told Joe about it, but maybe he watches that already. I don't know. So good, so
I
good.
feel like he does.
The writing is great. The beautiful.
All of it. Love it. But yeah, so I ended up just later that night watching the YouTube performance.
Yeah.
So what did you think?
I liked it. I feel like he's always been very, since he started, very, I don't know how to say it, very strong on his words and like what he stands for. Like he's never been a different person, which I appreciate. Staying true to himself. I think I love seeing like Serena Williams just pop out of nowhere, Samuel L. Jackson,
Oh, loved it.
And I love that the character was like Uncle Sam,
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah.
It was very meaningful, and
yeah.
But I will always think like leave the Super Bowl halftime shows to the girly pops. Like the pop divas are the ones that need to be in control of these because they're so good at bringing. And I don't want to take anything away. I think it was a great show, especially for that genre, which is really hard to get people to watch. But it was a very telling the whole time. But I always, I think in my head, Lady Gaga, J-Lo and Shakira, it's one of those, performances that you, leave and your jaw is on the floor. You're like, what?
I mean, last year, Rihanna. Years ago.
And
Katy
Rihanna,
Perry.
she did it pregnant. So imagine if she wouldn't have been pregnant. So,
Right.
you think of all these artists that are actual performers, that's their show is their show.
Yeah.
And it makes me can we please just have that genre only because that's how their shows are. They don't have to do anything extra. This is what they've done their whole life. But that being said, I think he did a great job. I think the message was great. I think it's really hard to get people's eyes on it when it comes to hip hop or rap, So yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I just don't listen to his music. I only listen to Bad Blood with Taylor Swift, and he's in it.
Yeah, I know. That's my thing too, is I don't listen to his music. I don't know the whole thing with the Drake feud that they have going on, because I know he was kind of throwing,
I mean,
that was his whole last album.
He said his name in the
and then he was wearing that A minor chain or whatever, so it was but I'm not into that whole thing, so it kind of went over my head. And I really agree with you about, I want to be entertained, and I found it a little boring.
And again, it's
like you said, you only have a couple of minutes, so you got to make it worth it.
It's boring also for us because it's a genre we really don't pay attention to that much.
I don't mind
and
rap,
I also
but
feel like I feel like he's so new. I feel like his career, I don't think it has more than 15 years.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I feel like in 5 years you could have him. I don't know. Again, I don't know.
This is the second time he's performed.
Really?
At Super Bowl.
Mira, I was praying at some point
a few years ago
Taylor Swift was going to come out in the arena and say, "Oh, baby, now we got Bad Blood." I would be fuck yeah, let's go. But I don't know. Yeah. None of that. It's okay. It's okay. I'll probably get her next year when she owns all her music.
Yeah, because didn't I say something to you a couple years ago? I was like, why isn't Taylor Swift perform at the halftime show? And it was something to do with Apple.
So,
music.
So basically before it was Pepsi. The show was presented by Pepsi, and she's always been, one of her sponsors has always been Coca-Cola.
Right.
So that contract, she couldn't. And then it became Apple Music. So now she can, but she's not going to do it until she owns all her music, which she should be done this year. She just has Her debut and Reputation left. And they are supposed to be released in the next 6 months. So she could be next year. So
maybe. I mean, I feel like she would do well.
Oh my God.
But
yes.
Weren't people like booing her?
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of probably old men just like that get very annoyed.
Also, they were Eagles fans.
Yeah.
They were Eagles fans.
I mean,
so
which
like,
is fine, you know, like you can be, but I'm like, you're booing a girl that sells out that stadium.
She's like a fucking billionaire.
Who is a billionaire.
Yeah, so like.
Who had the biggest tour in history. What are you booing for? Like, it's just...
Because he has a small penis.
It was giving small dick energy. And, like, also, people hate seeing other people happy. I swear to God.
And successful, especially a young woman.
Mm-hmm. And you could tell that she wasn't bothered that much by it.
I know, she was like, what's happening?
Yeah, she's like, oh, what's going on? And it must be nice to get on so many people's nerves just by existing, you know? I kind of felt bad more for her boyfriend Travis, who was in the game and is probably hearing this shit towards his girlfriend, and he can't do anything about it.
And they're losing really badly.
And they're losing, so it's yeah. I don't know. It shows how ugly humanity can be sometimes. But I was like, you know what? I'm glad she's safe. She's out of there. Nothing bad came from it, only the booing, and she's a strong girly. And you know what, perfect timing, because Reputation is an album about people that fucking hate her, so she's just gonna serve when she comes with it. It's gonna be so nice.
I love it. God, when is that happening? Come on, Taylor.
She extended the name, the Reputation Taylor's version, and debut Taylor's version for 6 months. This is her last opportunity, so it's gonna come out soon. I'm in peace. I'm just not clowning anymore because I had too many theories in my head. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I cannot clown anymore. I've been waiting for it for like 1 year and 3 months. So
I know, because it was like last year at the VMAs. You were like, oh,
it's happening.
Is going to do it. Yeah.
And she was like, no, I'm giving you new music, which was great. But, God, I just want Reputation because I want to hear the songs that were never released. The vault tracks. And those are going to be so good because that album is like her best album, in my opinion. But, whatever. Segue.
Jesus.
We're taking the pin off the segue. And we're getting into it. Because if you guys let me talk about Taylor Swift, we'll be here for 10 days. Maybe more. Okay.
Probably more.
So, we are discussing today Conclave. Hey! I was gonna say Namaste, which has nothing to do with that. I love it, but it's kind of zen, you know?
Love it.
It's a little bit zen. Well, a little bit.
I get it.
You know?
They're supposed to be pious and...
I have a little thing of what it is about. So Conclave is a 2024 political thriller, filmed and directed by Edward Berger and written by Peter Strahan, based on the 2016 novel by Robert Harris. The film stars Ralph Fiennes. It's Fiennes, right?
I say Ray Fiennes.
Okay, Fines?
Okay,
like a fine?
Yeah.
Okay, so the film stars
Ray Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes, yeah.
Then it has also Tracey's uncle, Stanley Tucci.
Hey! Yay! Uncle Tooch! I love him.
We'll tell the listeners the story about Stanley Tucci in a little bit. John Lithgow, Sergio Castellito, and Isabella Rossellini. And in the film, the Cardinal Thomas Lawrence organizes a conclave to elect the next pope and finds himself investigating secrets and scandals about the major candidates. Before we go for it, tell them your story about Stanley Tucci, because like since then, I will always call him your uncle.
Dude, I don't even remember how it started.
It was a dream. You had a dream.
That he was your
uncle.
My uncle.
Yes. And honestly, it wasn't just
Best
once.
dream ever.
It happened a couple of times. He was in your dream a couple of times as your uncle.
Really hoping that he just will become my uncle. Which then Emily Blunt and...
Oh my God. And Anne Hathaway, your friends?
Emily Blunt would also be my aunt because Stanley Tucci is married to Emily Blunt's sister. So, I'll be invited for Thanksgiving, and it's going to be the best fucking Thanksgiving ever. Because also, Tucci will cook all the Italian food. So we'll have an Italian Thanksgiving.
Yes. I love that. Okay.
Please, let me pray.
So, call Jesus. Send you Stanley Tucci.
Oh, gosh.
So I just want to say, T, that I really, really liked this movie. I was not expecting, because I started watching it in December, but the music was so intriguing to me that I thought it was going to be very scary, so I stopped it. And I was like, I'm just going to wait till, like, because Trey went to Ohio before me, so I was like, when we come back, we'll watch it. But I never did until now, because I did want to watch it for the podcast. And I'm actually glad that I started again. I was paying attention better. I was very focused this time to understand the names of the characters, because it's a little bit of a complex story, especially if you don't know much about the Catholic religion. The names, there's a lot of cardinal and what was that other word? Yeah, the one with an E. I don't know.
Oh, eminence. Your eminence.
Your eminence.
So it's just it's like a title, your honor to a judge. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of those, and so I'm glad that I was okay, let me just focus and watch it. But I was amazed. I really didn't know that that's how they handle it at all. I don't know how they handle that, and through this I was like, oh, this is how it is handled. And how many cardinals come from different places just for this moment. And there's this one person who's basically a manager handling this whole situation, and then the smoke on the top to decide, to let the people know if he has been selected and all that. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed, and for me the performances were just beautiful, so fucking well done. What do you think, T1?
Well, Ralph Fiennes can do no wrong in my book. Voldemort.
Oh my God, he's so good. I know, it's he can play Voldemort, he can play that. It's his range as an actor is amazing.
Right. Excellent actor. Mm-hmm. So I think he definitely deserved to be nominated. Mm-hmm. Everybody else, their performance was great. It's just Ralph Fiennes was such a standout for me. Although the heavy breathing, was that a character choice, I hope? I'm not the only one, right?
No, I noticed it too.
It's sir.
I think it was a character's choice.
I hope so.
But
it was a lot and very heavy breathing.
I also think the quality of audio is getting extremely good.
So good.
Because I was actually listening to a podcast yesterday. Mm-hmm. And the hosts weren't being loud, but I had to lower it because I could hear every single thing. I could hear them breathing, swallowing, everything. And I hated it. I was like, I am getting furious, and it's such a good message. It's one of those podcasts about like vulnerability and all this stuff. But I was getting furious because I'm like, I don't want to hear when the saliva is going down. So I also think it's like technology is capturing all these moments so well too. It was probably I think it was a character's choice, but I think it also like the microphones are so good now that it can be very disturbing, in my opinion.
I suppose that's true, but there is like a specific, like there's sound editing. So you have someone whose job is to go through and like they can pull some of that out. So
hey, that's the director's fault.
I'm assuming it was a character choice.
Yeah.
But whoa, like anytime there was just any sort of silence, I was like, he's breathing so heavy right now. And I'm one of those people that little noises bug the shit out of me.
I'm gonna send you this podcast because I want to hear your reaction, because I noticed the breathing, but I forgot about it. You know, I didn't like pay attention to it again. You know, I ignored it somehow, but this triggered something in you for sure.
Yeah, I just can't. But I mean, other than that, the performance, great, loved it. I mean, I did think it's interesting that even though I was raised a cradle Catholic, you know, I went to church every Sunday and holy days of obligation, I did all the things, right? Yeah. I didn't know that much about this process.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Which was interesting. There's enough like intrigue in it to keep you going. But I don't know. I don't think I liked it as much as you did.
I liked it a lot, mostly because
it was fine.
For me, there was a lot that would leave to your imagination. You know, for example, when they were talking about, let's see, Cardinal, what was his name? Cardinal Tremblay.
John Lithgow, yeah.
They were talking about, like, the report, you know, if everything comes out. We know what these people do. We've always known. Most of them are pedophiles, you know. We know. But I love that they didn't tell us specifically. Because
they just said gross misconduct, which is so vague and broad.
It's so vague and it's so broad. And it's also, we're so used to hearing that. You know? It's like, hey, up to you. Assume whatever you think, because you know it happens a lot. Right. You know? So I really like that they, you know, it is a little bit of a slow movie. I'll give it that. It took forever to get some, like, messages across. I'm like, how many times are we gonna, like, go around, like, Tremblay's situation? I'm like, we know he sucks. Like, no.
Yeah.
But then to also see the cardinal from Nigeria, I think he was.
Adeyemi.
So Cardinal Joshua Adeyemi. The fact that he wanted to pretend that what he did was like, okay, that's it, bye, done. Forgiveness.
That was like before I was a priest.
It was before, and it's like, no, like you're supposed to be
how that works.
The leader of this. You know, it's your character, literally as a person, is so important. We cannot have this happen, you know, at all.
Right. And
I think that actor, his name is Lushan Samati. My heart broke for him when he is in that room with him, and he just starts crying and I was like, I felt bad because it's like, even though you were forgiven and you know confessed and all this stuff, this is the line of work you chose. You know, so you have to deal with the consequences. It's not like you can be a normal person and now you can be the boss of like people at a company. No. You chose to be a cardinal and then to maybe become the Pope or whatever. So this is what happens.
Well, and I kind of love in that scene too that Ralph Fiennes was like, you're not going to become Pope.
Yeah. Like straight
and he
to
was
his
like,
face.
oh, but that was years ago. That was 30 years ago, blah, blah, blah. And you're thinking, okay. And he goes, yeah, she was 19 and you were 30.
Oh, God, every time. These people love that. They really love that.
I'm going to say on a personal note, like, this movie and other movies like Spotlight and Doubt just personify the reason why I don't go to church anymore, and I find the Catholic Church so hypocritical.
It's the most hypocritical. It's the most. And like the amount of scandals, they're mostly from there.
They just try to bury it and pay money. And
because if you notice, like from the other stuff, they're either they're a cult usually, the other ones, you know. But this one is like constantly like saying how good you have to be. But I'm like, are you guys taking a look inside? Like, take a mirror. What's going on in your actual, like, what's going on in the Vatican?
Right.
You know, that's where it's at.
Which I know I'm like skipping way ahead, but at the end when Tedesco gets up and because they get there's like that bombing that happens.
Oh, right, yes.
And he's like, oh, and these terrorists, and we have to fight and go to war. You're supposed to be a fucking man of God. Yeah. And God he has taught that you are supposed to be peaceful and kind and forgiving and to show others love and respect and forgiveness. And you're saying that you want to go to war and fight these people who probably need love and just light in their life. That's like the opposite of what you should be preaching, my dude. And you want to become Pope? Yeah. And that's what the Bellini, like Stanley Tucci's character, and
the
other guy. Yeah, quote, I know. Unquote. Hilarious, right? Yeah. And he was like, we can't let someone like that be Pope because they're going to set us back decades of work that we've tried to do. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like so funny to see all the different types of, you know, cardinals or whatever they're called, you know. I'm guessing that's their name because they kept calling each other that. Yeah. But we are presented with this guy, the Benitez one, that nobody knows of his existence. He just shows up for it, and they're like, wait, what? They're like, wait, what the fuck?
And grab another seat.
Yeah. And they're like telling him, they have him like in prison. In there. Yeah. I was like, that's kind of fucked up. And then you know, they're talking about that whole like, you know, he was doing some basically missionary work,
right?
You know,
which to be fair, they kind of have to be I guess undercover. Wary with things, because I mean, you never know, people can be lying. He could have been a undercover journalist or something like that. That's so true. They kind of, you know, have to be a little suspicious at first until it's like, okay, we need to talk to this person and just like make sure. Yeah
I love that they, you know, showed, you know, a whole different cardinal that I was like, okay, they're all there, and then they're like, no, we actually have one more. And this is basically going to spice everything up because we're going to put his hat in, which I don't know. Did you get how they choose it? It's like people voting for who they should vote for. Like, why? How did they choose that?
That's basically the impression that I got, that it's like all these cardinals are technically candidates, it feels like. So you just sort of vote for who you want to become the next pope.
Yeah. That's what I figured.
The impression that I got. Because like I said, I don't know how that works at all.
No idea.
This was new to me. I didn't know how accurate it was.
Yes.
But.
And I think they probably did like really good research, to portray all these moments and events. But I wanted to talk about real quick, and I like took a part of it, Cardinal Thomas Lawrence, which is, the leading character. He, when he's trying basically to make everyone understand that this is a really big decision, he says, which kind of like touched my heart a little bit. He said, our faith is a living thing precisely because it walks hand in hand with doubt. If there was only certainty and no doubt, there would be no mystery and therefore no need for faith. And I think that was, first of all, he's such a good actor. That was so
and speaking Latin and Italian.
Oh my God. And Spanish. It was just like very well delivered. Like I felt like I was in there and I was getting the message. But also the writing. I don't know if I don't think that's in the Bible. I really don't. But whoever wrote that it's so true. Like whoever is an asshole that's condescending, that thinks he knows everything, I'm sorry. No. Like where would we will have no hope of anything because there's nothing to fight for anymore. Right. So I think it was so, especially for people that are like not religious like us, like it's like faith becomes about like, what do you like, there must be something you believe in. It doesn't have to be God. It doesn't have what do you have faith in, Right. So I think it was very important, especially for cardinals like Tremblay, cardinals like what was the name of the asshole, the one that won at war, Tedesco. They needed to hear that message so freaking bad because holy shit, I'm like, these are condescending motherfuckers. The fact that he was like, oh, we shut that report down, I'm like, that doesn't mean what you did it has gone away. Right. It's still happened, you're just hiding it now, which it makes it even worse. Yeah.
It is disappointing because it's like these are supposed to be
the leaders.
You would think, and hopefully like men with morals and who just want to do the right thing and be good people, and they just seem to care more about covering up the bad shit that they've done and gaining power.
Yes. The greediness, just keep getting that power, keep pretending to be the example because literally you're not walking what you're preaching. You're saying all these things and that's not who you are. This is why I always say your leader has to represent who you are. It doesn't matter in religion, at work, it has to be everywhere. Who you choose to be your leader has to be who you are, or who you aspire to be, so it was very, very, I knew already how bad it is in the church, but it was like even more eye-opening that you see the character, Stanley Tucci's character, Bellini, kind of like give up. He's like, he's whatever, I'm outnumbered and this is what we have, so we'll just, and he, and Lawrence is like, no, we're not gonna do that. Like, we still gotta keep going. And then he even tells him like, hey, maybe you should be the one. And it's like, he doesn't want it.
Right.
But he was willing.
You didn't. Do you think he wanted it?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
he wanted it at all, because like the last conversation before the Pope died was him telling him, I have so much doubt. Like, he was struggling with his faith, you know, and yes, you know, you need to have a person that doesn't have like certainty. But I don't think he wanted it at all, and that's not what he was meant to do. He literally said, I am supposed to handle this. I'm not supposed to be the one chosen.
Right. Yeah, I don't think he wanted it either. Because I think, doesn't Tremblay say, oh, like, you're just you want this for you? And it's like, no, because you see him in those moments where he's like by himself and he's just like, like, basically tired. Pulling his little hair that he has left out.
His 3 hairs.
Poor receding hairline. Yeah. But like, you could just tell that he's stressed as fuck. He's like, I don't even want to be the dean. I don't want to handle this shit. I'm just doing it because the Holy See Father or whatever told me that he wanted me to do it.
Holy Eminence.
Yes,
whatever.
the big guy.
Yeah.
He wanted me to take care of this shit for him, so I'm doing it.
I also love that he right away became like fucking CSI, and he said, I'm gonna fucking go through this evidence room and see what's up, you know? Yeah. And I love that he, you know, he could have given up to, like Bellini, but he was like, no. I'm gonna do my research, even if I'm like quote unquote breaking the rules, you know, but I'm gonna get to the truth of this situation, because this is we can't just choose the wrong guy because we gave up. And I think that happens so much. I think that happens more than, you know, people kind of give up, then they stop fighting the good fight, and they're
you get a defeatist attitude, because it's like, because it's like, well, I guess we're outnumbered. Like, what are we going to do? Yeah. But yeah, you're right. For him, it was all about doing the right thing, the moral thing, the good thing, which, exactly, like you said, all these times when it's like he could have minded his own business, he could have been like, yeah, sure, bye. But no, he was like, I'm going to talk to this woman, because there was the scene. That
Isabella Rossellini's character.
Yemi and the girl. And then he's like trying to get in the office, and she's like, no, it's fine. He's like, you're going to let me in.
And also like how sad it was that they were afraid of speaking their truth.
Right.
It's like, you should not, this is a person that you should actually trust. This is the people that you like, quote unquote, confess to.
Which I love that he was like, do you want me to hear your confession?
Yeah.
Because now, as like a sister, as a nun, you're probably like, okay, well, in that case, yes, because I'm not like tattling or whatever. Like, it's a confession. So now I'm
very smart. I'm telling you. CSI.
Airing these grievances.
Crime scene investigation.
And then he had his buddy, and he'd be like, you're the one who can go on the outside. Go talk to Monsignor.
I love that.
Find out this thing.
He was the undercover cop. I love. And then the drunk guy that was like, dude, like, just letting you know, Tremblay got fired for being a pab.
And that is a quote.
That's
a direct quote.
Direct quote from the script. He said Tremblay was fired because he was a pab.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, he was.
And another amazing actor too. Like, they all delivered. I think it was very well casted. Isabella Rossellini, I love seeing her on the screen, because I feel like we don't see enough of her ever. You know?
Not at all. And she wasn't really in it that much, right? I don't feel like. Like, I could have used a little bit more, but I will say it's amazing that she's been nominated.
She is nominated.
Golden Globe and Oscars. So that says something. Because for me, I think
no such thing as small roles.
No, Exactly. And this proves it. But the part when she's in the like cafeteria and Tremblay is like, no, I didn't do these things.
And
then he finally says, yeah, I did. And she's like, actually, and tells him everything.
Blurs
and then
it
I love
out.
at the end, she like curtsies and then walks
leaves.
away.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was great.
Always
my favorite
cleaning
part.
up the mess. Women. Always fixing everything.
Because what does she say? I know us sisters are supposed to be behind the scenes or like invisible,
Quiet.
but God gave us eyes and ears. And I was like, boom!
Mic, drop the bomb.
Let's
drop the
go.
bomb. Somebody give her a mic so she can drop it. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, she did so good.
Yeah.
I also love the character too, how protective she was of the other sisters. And, you know, the reason why I said there's no such thing as small roles is because, we didn't get her speaking a lot, like with lines, but she was always there. I don't know if you noticed, like she was always in the background. There was like walking by, a look here and there, you know, like, hey, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm watching, you know, and that just shows you how good of an actress she is, that, you know, she got nominated for probably like 3 paragraphs, you know, completely in the whole movie. So, yeah. I wanted to talk about somebody else. Let me see. Oh, I also love that when they were in the cafeteria, all the cardinals from all over the world, like they all divided. Oh, the Italians are here.
All their cliques.
All the cliques. I was like, this is Mean Girls. All
Band
over.
geeks over here, jocks over here.
Yes.
Horny band kids.
Yes. Wait, wasn't there a moment that, they print something? Am I going? I said to Trey.
Ray Fiennes prints the report.
Yes.
And they lay it at everyone's.
I said to Trey, I was like, this is Mean Girls. And this is Regina George spreading the burn book everywhere. And
that's
Tracy, you don't understand that an hour later I'm on social media and there's a video that says, what does this remind you of? And it's the same thing. It's Conclave and Mean Girls. And I was like, I was just saying this. I was just saying this. I love it. It was so good.
I love it though.
So
it's true. You're dropping the bomb.
Telling the truth.
Yeah, he wanted to show everybody this is who you've been voting for. You gotta let the people know.
I was like, Regina George is in action. Get that copy, everyone. Read it. Yeah. Yes, I love that. And I always love that it was like everyone found themselves, like the Italians with the Italians, you know, the Spanish. Right. Love that. So good. And
because then doesn't Tedesco say like, oh well, if it were up to me, we'd all be speaking Latin.
Oh my God, taking everyone back 100 million years. Nobody uses
Yeah.
that language anymore, sir.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
Which is funny because they did speak a lot of Latin.
They did.
Like in the Mass and stuff. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of understand what he's saying, like a universal language that they all speak, but also, isn't that what's so beautiful about humanity is that we can appreciate all of our differences?
Yes. Yeah.
So, get with it, Tedesco.
I don't know if you felt this, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about like the lighting of the show. I think it was very well done because for me, I don't know if you felt this, but there were moments that I was getting like claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic?
I kept saying, I was like, Trey, there's no windows. I was like, honey, there's no sun in this place. They're just there.
They shutter everything.
Breathing each other's fucking oxygen. And then like even like in the
And farts.
hallway to go to the yes, ew. Even like to go in the hallways to go to their rooms. Like the windows were in their rooms, but they were closed. I think we saw Cardinal Lawrence opened at once. And I was like, oh my God, thank God.
Right. They're supposed to be enclosed, but I mean, they do go out because they're going back and forth between their living quarters and it's the Sistine Chapel where they vote. So, like, they do get shuttled back and forth. But, yeah, for the most part, they're contained inside. So, actually, yes, I did feel claustrophobic a few times.
Many fucking times.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to give, like, kudos to the composer of it. Because I feel like that was also part of it. You know, the music was so well done that it made me, you know, it made me feel like...
anxious.
Yeah. And his
a lot of times because it was just like the strings, right?
Yes.
Like a violin, like just so here and there sporadically. Yeah.
So he is a German composer. His name is Volker Bertelmann. Something like that.
Something German.
Something like that.
Guten Tag.
He basically studied piano and, you know, just kept taking lessons, and then he just basically started composing. And he hasn't, like, he's done a lot, but more like recently. He started, like, in the last, I want to say, like 7 years, 8 years, you know, he started doing 4 movies. He did, let's see. So he did Adrift, with Shailene Woodley.
Yes. I was like, that sounds familiar.
Yes, he did that. He also did The Old Guard with Charlize Theron. That was in 2020. He did Summerland. He did a romantic drama, Ammonite. He also did a sci-fi movie called Stowaway with Anna Kendrick and Toni Collette. And recently he did All Quiet on the Western Front. But all these have been like in like 6 years.
Wow. And those are big movies.
Big movies.
You know, it's not like, you know, little thing. Like, it's like...
Yeah.
So, good for him.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like that's really hard to, like, break into movies and...
Yes.
So
very, very hard. I probably think it's like one of the hardest things because you have to, basically the director has to like see their movies through your music. They have to listen to you and be like, oh, can they go for that? You know? So yeah, I think that was really interesting because I think that was definitely part of why I was like, oh my God, there's no oxygen where they're at.
Right.
So I think the music had a lot to do with it.
And, like, I noticed it, you know, because to me, that's also, like, a good, like, you do and you don't want to notice it.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's there in the background, but it's helping with the tone and, like, the vibe and the feeling of the movie.
I think music is such an important thing.
So important.
Oh, my God. Yeah. It's just, like, it just makes you feel things that you might not feel without like a violin in the background or like quartet. I don't know. It's so nice. So I do recommend this movie big time. I think it's important to see it. I also like recommending movies like this to religious people because I'm like, I need you to see how it
the old works. Lady Catholics are up in arms about it because my mom does still go to church and she's she's part of like a Bible study and all that stuff, and they're like, don't see it.
Did they see it?
And my mom hasn't watched it yet, and she's like, I want to know like what the fuss is all about. And she's like, I don't understand. Like this is still a fictitious scenario. Like it's based off of a book. It's not like this actual thing has happened. Yeah. Now maybe parts of it, you know.
But you know what? It's a deflection. You know, when they feel like that, it's because you know it's true. You know that's usually how it is.
Exactly.
I know you have fun facts probably, but before you go for it, I just wanted to like let everyone know the awards that it got. So
yes,
it
please.
has a lot of recognition in this award season. So for the Academy Awards, it got 8 nominations, including Best Picture, Best Actor for Ralph Fiennes, Best Supporting Actress for Isabella Rossellini, Best Adapted Screenplays, Best Original Score, Best Editing, Best Production Design, and Best Costume Design. It also secures 6 Golden Globes, winning Best Screenplay. I also, it's so interesting when I hear screenplay because it means like they did a good job taking it from the book to the screen. And at the BAFTA Film Awards, the BAFTA for the listeners is the British ones. It had 12 nominations, and a few of them were Best Film, Best Director, and acting categories. And they also earned 2 SAG Award nominations for Best Performance by a Cast and Best Performance by a Male Actor, a leading male actor.
For Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's just hard because, like, what are they up against, too?
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it was good. And we didn't really talk about the ending either.
Oh, yeah. They had,
like, when
Benitez?
They end up voting because, okay, what solidifies it is when Tedesco's like, war, we gotta go to war. And then this guy who just came in out of nowhere, Benitez, stands up and he's like,
I'm gonna tell you because I just came from there. I just came from war, sir. You know?
Yes. Yeah. He fucking reads them to filth.
Yeah.
He's like, actually, bitches.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're basically small, petty men.
Yes.
If you think like that.
Exactly.
And it's like he actually speaks some truth to them and like gets to their heads, and they're like, oh yeah,
I love
shit.
that.
Like we're supposed to be
He put him in
good
his
people.
place. Yeah.
Yes. Loved
and
it.
this
so
is why he gets
like,
chosen.
Right.
Yeah. It was like, a little plot twist.
Yeah, they're like, this is who we want. And I think everybody pretty much got what they wanted in the end. So they're happy with it.
Yep.
And then Ralph Fiennes goes to him because he's supposed to be like getting ready to, I don't know, get his inauguration into the papacy. I don't know how that works. But anyway, he's refusing to get dressed.
I thought it was inauguration too, so you're fine. Yeah.
I'm sure there's like a specific term for it, but whatever. I don't do research. So so he like is refusing to get dressed. So Ralph Fiennes goes in and he's like, hey, listen, let's like have a quick chat.
Also, he finds out about the doctor's appointment.
Yes, because they're like something that happened in Switzerland, but then they don't really know too much. And then he's like, okay, wait, but like before this guy is officially becoming the Pope, I need to sit down with him because that's his thing. He wants to find the truth, make sure everything's on the up and up. Yeah. And he's like, yo, dude, level with me. What happened in
what we talking about here? What we talking about here?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
Gross misconduct, right?
Yeah.
You didn't knock up any 19-year-olds.
Give us the real tea.
Right.
Yeah.
So what he basically Benita tells him, like, I went to a medical clinic, and it's because I was born with a uterus and I have ovaries. So I have like female sex organs. And I was going to have them removed. But I decided this is how God made me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what he wants, and I don't want to disturb his work.
Yeah. Which I also like it's a big message too, because, you know, right away a lot of people would think like, no, take him out, you know. He's not worthy. He's not, you know, And I think it just goes to show that it'll always be about your heart. Do you have a good heart? Can you lead by example? And I think that moment there, I was like, that's actually what matters, especially when you're walking into a role like that, you know? And nobody needs to know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not necessarily a very private thing, you know? So...
And it doesn't change his beliefs.
Who he is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He could still be the priest that he is. He'll still be a good pope, like, no matter what, with or without it. He's still going to be the same person. So, like, what difference does it make?
Exactly.
Like, I guess that was a scandal, but...
I
guess, Lawrence is like, okay, you good. Let's go.
Yeah. He's like,
fine.
Please tell me.
We did the damn thing.
There's no sexual harassment here. I'm so tired.
Yeah, he's like, okay, if you just have ovaries, that's fine.
Yeah,
you have
let's
a uterus.
Just go.
We're good.
It's fine. I love that.
I'm done with this shit.
Yep. Yep. That's so funny.
Yeah. So that was an interesting little
twisteroo. Yep. So give us the fun facts, T-Boneski.
All right. So I got a lot because I did see some background stuff with this whole process and like the church. So hopefully it'll like make sense a little bit more.
Okay.
So just like a couple quick things. So the word conclave is derived from the Latin meaning of a place that can be locked up or come together, and clavis, which means key.
Got it.
With our Latin.
Yeah, because English comes from Latin. I'm sorry, guys. It does not. For the listeners, if you don't know, it does not come from... It's not a Romance language.
No. Filming took place from January of 2023 to March of 2023.
Where?
2 months of filming.
Do you know?
In Rome.
Okay.
In Italy.
Okay.
So they were pretty much on location. They did do some scenes at Cinecittà Studios. Okay. So I'm assuming like the
small studio over there.
Indoors when they're doing their vote and stuff. So the Sistine Chapel, obviously, that's a very historic.
Yeah, they're not gonna
place. Like you can't be, and also with the explosion. So so I think
they said we're gonna skip that part.
Yeah. Sorry, no, we can't let you film here. If you're gonna be blowing up windows. Okay, so. Many of the actions that Cardinal Lawrence and the rest of the cardinals take during the film's conclave process are accurate to the Catholic faith and centuries of tradition. So after the Pope dies, his ring, which is called the Ring of the Fisherman, is removed and destroyed.
Oh my God.
To prevent it from being... I didn't know any of this. So they remove it to be used to forge and the Pope's seal on documents. So I guess each Pope has their own seal.
Okay.
And that's their like signature. So they don't want anybody forging documents saying it was him.
Wow.
So they destroy it, which you saw in the beginning when they put it through
also,
and they like lop it off. Yeah.
Them taking out that ring out of that dead body, I was like, I'm uncomfortable, and I feel like I could hear it too, the whole thing. I was like, I'm hearing the sounds. This is pretty nasty right now. Also, his body's probably cold.
And like rigor mortis is setting in because you could tell it was like kind of hard to get off. And I think he was freaking out a little bit. Like I was like, oh my God, are they going to chop his finger off? Don't desecrate his body.
Oh, and then the rest of them are just like looking.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So that is true. So they do take off the ring and they get rid of it. The Vatican then makes an official announcement that the throne of the Holy See, which is the Catholic Church's governing body, is vacant.
Okay.
The papal apartment, so his room, is closed off with the crimson ribbon and sealed with a wax papal stamp.
Okay.
The College of Cardinals are sequestered in apartments to eat and sleep between votes.
Okay.
Finally,
so
the
it's
windows
basically
and
what they do all day through those days.
That's
just
pretty
like
much,
voting and voting and voting and voting. So it has to be unanimous.
Or they have to have some sort of majority.
Okay.
That's what it seemed like.
Okay.
Yeah. Which also I thought it was interesting that they don't like campaign.
I know.
Like, I would make a really good pope because,
Yo, guys, here's my statement.
Yeah, like have like a mission statement.
Is my friend, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like I need convince me to vote for you.
Yeah,
like what if I don't know your work?
I think it's also, maybe it's like you have to. If this is something you want, you have to shown for years how good your character is as a person, how worthy you are of this role, and it's like a whole life goal. I want to say, I don't know.
For some men, I'm sure when they enter the priesthood, that it's like they have these steps that they want to move. Up the ladder and maybe eventually become pope, just like with other jobs, like you want to be CEO.
Yeah.
So they are sequestered, and finally the windows and doors to the Sistine Chapel, where the actual election takes place and ballots are cast, are darkened, shuttered, and locked to maintain the secrecy of the conclave.
Oh, so it's okay.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah. Claustrophobia.
Yes.
Jeez.
That felt like that.
Some newer security measures, they have had to be taken in recent years. So when the conclave that elected Pope Francis I convened in 2013, the Sistine Chapel was swept for bugs and other electronic listening devices. ID cards were issued to all conclave servants because a reporter disguised as a servant was discovered during the conclave that elected Pope Benedict XVI in 2005.
That makes sense
why they would be like, yo, Benitez, you say who you are?
You going to jail, baby.
Yeah, they have to be a little suspicious because it's like...
Nobody puts Benitez in the corner.
They just make him pope.
Yep. Oh, man.
All members of the College of Cardinals were required to surrender their mobile phones and other electronic devices. Vatican City's Wi-Fi network was temporarily shut down, and wireless signal jammers were installed.
Oh my God. I'd be like, guys, we got to make this decision today. I cannot deal with this.
I can't look at TikTok.
Hello. Priorities.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I love it. So yeah, like a lot of that
Wow.
was true. So you're right. They did do their research. Cardinal Thomas Lawrence is the dean of the College of Cardinals. The dean always holds the rank of cardinal bishop.
Okay.
In addition to overseeing the daily meetings of the cardinals, he is responsible for summoning the conclave to elect a new pope following a death or resignation, and acts as a temporary head of the church while the throne of the Holy See is vacant.
Okay.
The dean is assisted by a vice dean, which was Bellini.
Yeah,
Stanley Tucci.
that's what I thought.
Okay.
Or
So
the undercover cup.
I think he's on like a lower ranking.
Oh, okay.
Because he had like different colored robes.
Oh, that
and
is
he
true.
Wasn't
that is true.
He wasn't being sequestered either.
Yeah.
Which is why he was able to like talk to Monsignor and do that. So he's like, so he's like a little below that.
I loved him.
But, oh, no.
I was
amazing.
like, this is the guy that brings the tea every day. I'm like, we need
oh my God.
more.
Yes, I was literally going to say, like, boiling hot tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Stanley Tucci was the vice dean. In the order of precedence in the Catholic Church, the dean and vice dean, as the two most senior cardinals, are second and third after the Pope. Oh. They have no actual authority over the other cardinals, except when the dean is carrying out his duties during a papal vacancy. So, before 1965, the cardinal bishop who had served as the bishop for the longest was the dean. In 1965, Pope Paul VI empowered the cardinal bishops to elect the dean from among their number. So before 2019, the dean held their position for life. But then as of 2019, Pope Francis said, nah, we're just going to do a 5-year term and they can serve 2 terms. So they could do 10 years total.
Okay.
Which, that is interesting, I think. Before it was kind of like, you in it.
Yeah.
Oh, no!
Yeah. I also feel like it can, I like it that it changes because it can be very biased if you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then who's to say that it's like you don't get bitter or jaded and you're taking bribes and so like you gotta keep it on the up and up. So in the novel, which was written by Richard Harris, who did help with the screenplay, Cardinal Benitez is actually Filipino.
Oh, okay.
And from the Archdiocese of Baghdad, not Kabul.
Oh, got it.
So a little bit of a difference there, but I still think the message still comes across as the same. But I thought that was interesting. In 533, John II became the first pope to adopt a papal name. He thought his birth name, Mercury, was inappropriate because it was also the name of a Roman god.
That's so funny. Also, like, Pope Mercury, is that a drug? You know?
Yeah, let me drop some mercury, right?
I want some Pope Mercury, guys. You know?
Actually, that sounds really fucking good. I feel like it would be, like, glittery, too. Like, there's just, like, glitter
and
in
green.
it.
I don't know.
Yes.
I'm so glad he changed his name.
Yeah, he was like, we're just going to go with John.
Okay.
We'll go John. So Isabella Rossellini, who's been in the industry since the 1970s, this is her first Oscar nomination.
Oh my God. Guys, this is embarrassing. Yeah. This is probably like Demi Moore's situation.
Well, you know, hey.
They've been doing this for so long.
But, you know, I feel like sometimes it's hard.
It is hard because the characters are not created for them. So
that, or, I mean, who's the competition that year? That type of thing. So but it's like, or like, what movies were they doing?
That's true.
Versus.
That's true. But I also think like the nomination, the recognition is good. They don't have to win, but being recognized, like these ladies have been working for so fucking long. You know,
it's a nice like ego boost.
Yes,
you know, to be like I am doing good work.
Yeah,
because you know it's like Demi Moore said in her Golden Globe. I was a popcorn actress. That's what everybody told me. You know, so to actually be seen as a serious actor, which is like I think most actors who get into it, like that's the goal. That's what they want. They want to be taken seriously. They want to do good work. So good for her. I know, I'm sorry. Some of these are really long, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. Okay, so at the end, we see Benitez. He chooses his papal name, which is Innocent.
Okay.
So, assuming no other popes in the film's universe have chosen the same name, the new pope would be Innocent the 16th. 13 popes have been named Innocent. The most recent was Innocent the 8th, who served from 1721 to 1724. The choice of name is believed to be highly symbolic, often indicative of the political course that the new pope will follow. In this case, the most recent popes, called Innocent, were reform-oriented and took steps against corruption.
Love that. Okay.
In a 2024 interview with the National Catholic Reporter, Edward Berger, the director, he spoke about the significance of the turtles in the film. Because you remember at the end, like they do mention at one point, like the turtles keep escaping, and then he took the, okay. So I kind of thought, was like, what the fuck is that? So he said in an interview, I remember seeing a fountain full of turtles on the Vatican grounds. They were a gift to the Vatican, and when I looked up what turtles mean in different cultures, it turns out they hold a lot of varied significance. As a result, they're great to include in a film because their presence can be open to many different interpretations. So in one of those cultures, though, a turtle symbolizes transformation and change. In another, they symbolize wisdom and age. I thought it would be a nice culmination for Ralph Fiennes to carry the turtle back to the fountain towards the end of the film, keeping those ideas in mind.
Okay.
Some turtle species, I thought this was really interesting, some turtle species have both male and female reproductive organs.
I knew that one. Yes.
Humans born with reproductive or sexual anatomy of both male and females are known as intersex. So also, there we go.
Full circle.
So smart.
Yep.
So speaking of, okay, so the plot twist at the end is a nod to a centuries-long, almost certainly apocryphal rumor that the Vatican used to perform a sex test on papal candidates to ensure that they were male. This rumor probably invented as anti-Catholic propaganda designed to shame and mock the church, held that there was who knows? I kind of believe it. There was a special chair with a hole cut in the seat for examination to ensure that the prospective pope had testicles.
They couldn't just take them to the doctor?
They were like, sit under there.
Yeah, let me see those dingleberries. Bro. No words.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, God.
This notion sprang from another probably false legend that during the Middle Ages, there was a female pope, Pope Joan, who managed to conceal her gender to rise through the clerical ranks and ascend to the papacy.
Ooh, what a badass bitch.
That would be awesome if that were true.
If I find that out, I'm going to be like, with a glass of wine and maybe a cigarette.
Female priest. A joint. You're like,
I'm like,
right,
that's my girl.
Go Joan. Okay, last thing. In the final scene, Cardinal Lawrence looks out into a courtyard and sees a group of nuns in white habits exiting through a door and passing a wall adorned with white statues of the apostles. This scene symbolizes the hope for progress, for women moving forward in the church beyond the static monuments of men who have governed the institution for centuries. It reflects the promise that an intersex pope embodies, someone who knows what it means to live between the immovable certainties of men.
Boom. Wow. That's really good. I'm telling you, that was a really good movie. you know? And now that I know a little bit more, I'm sure if I read the book, I would have been like, holy shit, it's good.
I bet the book's pretty good.
But it's very, very interesting. Also, I feel like I didn't know much about it, you know? So
but I'm a cradle Catholic and I knew shit.
Yeah. So we both recommend, I'm guessing. I also feel like you have to prepare mentally for it.
Mentally, and also it is for a certain audience. Not everyone is going to get into this movie.
100%, I agree. Yeah,
like if you have a short attention span, or like you're not into,
like I'm sure Giovanni would have been like, no, I was done 5 minutes in. So yeah,
Giovanni, Rachel, like certain people are going to be like,
no,
I'm out. Like okay. I'm not right.
But
if you are a little bit more of a cinephile and you can like
appreciate
sit down
a good film
and then it is good.
Yes.
Yeah. It is a good movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the Rotten Tomatoes score was 93%, and the audience was 86%, and IMDb gave it 7.5. So all in all, very good.
Yeah.
I do recommend, especially if you're also like a person that is into awards, you kind of want to compare once you know like what's nominated. You want to see the voting started yesterday, I think, for the Academy Awards members into
coming up.
Yes. I also wanted to like give a quick shout out to the next Best Picture podcast, because they reposted us in their Instagram, which we appreciated, but like their insights on all movies, they're so good. And also they have like people from like the industry in it talking about the films. So if you listen to this podcast, you should also listen to them. And I think that's pretty much it. I liked it. Did you like it?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It was a little slow, but I mean, like I said, there's enough in it. Like when they're uncovering
a hook.
All the conspiracies and all the shit that's going, like it's enough to keep you hooked in. Mm-hmm. So it is good and has a good message, and so the acting. I mean, Ralph Fiennes
the
alone.
Performances.
My uncle.
Your Uncle Stanley. Chef's kiss. Yes. Yes.
Love him. So,
well,
go watch it.
Yeah, go watch it. 2 thumbs up, and rate, review, subscribe to the podcast, not to the movie. Comment.
To us.
Tell your friends. Tell your enemies.
Tell
your families. Tell the families that really like the word pab. All this stuff.
Pope. They like the word Pope.
The word Pope. And that's it. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And
until next time.
Yes. Goodbye.
Bye.